The Rhulic force is being led by Gorten Grundback. His battle group consists of a Grundback Blaster, a Grundback Gunner, a Rothammer Rockram, and outside of the battle group, but attached to Gorten, is an Ogryn Boker. There is a full unit of Horkenhold Forge Guard, a full unit of Ogryn Assault Corps, a full unit of Horkenhold High Shield Gun Corps, with their UA, a unit of Tactical Arcanist Corps, a unit of Horkenhold Artillery Corps, Gunrun the Wanderer, and Thor Steinhammer. And that is 50 points of Rulic. The Qadorn force is being led by Vladimir Tzepesci, the Dark Champion. His battle group consists of Drago. And attached to Vlad, but outside of his battle group, is Sylys Wyshnalyrr the Seeker. There is a Manhunter solo, the Great Bears of Gallowswood, a full unit of Black Dragon Pikemen, with the Iron Fang Kovnik solo. There is a unit of Doom Reavers with their respective Greylord Escort UA, a unit of Kayazy Eliminators, a full unit of Greylord Outriders, a unit of Widowmakers, with the Widowmaker Marksman. And that is 50 points of Khador. We are playing the Steamroller 2013 scenario, Fire Support. This scenario has Killbox, and there are 2 flags and 2 objectives. These objectives are artillery emplacements and are defense 5, armor 18, with 15 damage boxes each. If you control a flag, you gain 1 control point, and if you dominate a flag, you gain 2 control points. If you destroy the enemy objective, that is the one opposite from the one closest to you, you gain 1 control point. The first player to 5 control points wins the game, and scoring starts at the bottom of the second player's second turn. Remember guys, this is Killbox. We roll off to see who goes first, and Khador wins the roll-off, and decides to go first. Khador deploys in a relatively balanced fashion, with the Greylord Outriders on the left flank of the main force, and the Black Dragons in the center along with the Great Bears and Drago, the Kayazy Eliminators, and the Iron Fang Kovnik. The Black Dragons are in the center so that way they can go wherever the flow of battle is, and the Great Bears and Drago can act as support. The Kayazy Eliminators are hiding behind the Black Dragons, since they really don't care about intervening models. Rulic deploys in a centralized brick, that way they can dictate where they go and also where to force the enemy to go as well, since the army is also speed 4 majority, and with a lack of Pathfinder, they're here that way they don't have to really deal with any rough terrain. And then you have on the flanks with the Tactical Arcanist Corps and the Horkenhold Artillery Corps to provide support to the units that they're next to. Khador advance deploys its Widowmakers in front of the Greylord Outriders to face off against the Horkenhold Forge Guard. They're perfect targets. The Marksman is right behind them. And to the right flank are the Doom Reavers. They're here just to walk around the main battle and attack on the sidelines to cause havoc, as they usually do. Rulic advance deploys gun run in front of the Doom Reavers. Berserkers facing off. Who will get the charge first? We shall see. Khador, turn 1. Vlad gets all 7 of his focus and doesn't do anything with it. Then the Black Dragons activate and run. The Manhunter activates and also runs. The Widowmakers advance. And then the Widowmaker activates and advances behind them. The Greylord Outriders activate, and they run. And then they have their light cavalry move after their activation. The Great Bearers activate and run. Vlad activates and he casts a sail on Drago. He then advances. He measures range to then cast Hand of Fate onto the Black Dragons. And finally, he casts Transference on himself. The Iron Fang Kovnik activates and he runs. Drago activates and runs for free. Sylys Wyshnalyrr activates and simply advances, and the Kayazy Eliminators activate and run a massive 14 inches. The Doom Reavers then activate and simply advance. They're trying to bait Qadorn. Rulic, turn 1. Gorten allocates 1 to the Blaster, 1 to the Gunner, and 1 to the Rock Ram. The Gunner activates first and advances. He then takes a shot at a Widowmaker. He uses Powerful Shot and measures his range. However, he is out of range. The Blaster activates and then runs. And then here I tell him that he can't sit on top of the objective as it's an actual physical object, rather than just being a marker. The Rock Ram activates and simply runs. Thor activates and walks up behind the 2 jacks. Grundback activates and simply advances. The Horgenhold Forge God activate and run. The Tactical Arcanist Corps activate and advance. This guy places the cloud out of sync with the activation, which I then tell him in this next portion right here, so he keeps on moving them. And then he places the other clouds from the other 2 Arcanist Corps. It may seem like this is not an inch away from the model, but it is. high shields then activate, and they go into a shield wall order, and simply advance. Then he tries to do a CRA into a Black Dragon and is out of range. The Ogre Assault Corps activate and advance behind the high shields. Then Gorten activates, and here he's running out the token for Strength of Granite before he casts a spell. And he advances. And then he casts Strength of Granite on the Rock Ram. Then Gudrun activates and advances backwards, baiting the Doom Reavers. The Artillery Corps activate and try to shoot at a Black Dragon, but are out of range. And so that's where the deviation will be taken from. But actually we misread his range, and he's actually in range. He hits, and the Black Dragon automatically dies. And then we do a blast damage on this Black Dragon, and he takes no damage. Khador, turn 2. Vlad gets all 7 of his focus, and allocates none. He then upkeeps Transference for free due to the Sylys Wyshnalyrr, spends 1 to upkeep a sail, and then drops Hand of Fate. Shown here. The Widowmakers activate and advance. One of them takes a shot at a Forge Guard, and he's in range. He hits, and does a sniper point of damage, killing him. He then makes his Swift Hunter move 2 inches back since he's within the command area of the Widowmaker Marksman. Another Widowmaker takes a shot at a Forge Guard. He hits, and also does a sniper point of damage. And he does his Swift Hunter move. Another Widowmaker fires on another Forge Guard. He's in range. He hits, and does a sniper point as well. And then he goes back with Swift Hunter. The Capitan fires at a Forge Guard. Slightly harder to hit, but she still hits anyway, doing a sniper point and killing him. And does a Swift Hunter move back. The Widowmaker Marksman activates and advances. He is looking to do the same thing. He takes a shot on another Forge Guard. And he's in range as well. He clearly hits, and does a sniper point again, and then does a Swift Hunter move. Vlad activates and advances. He then casts Hand of Fate onto the Greylord Outriders, and is in range thanks to Sylys. The Greylord Outriders activate and advance. One of them does a Frostbite shot at a Forge Guard, which also catches an Ogre Escort. This is on the Forge Guard first. He is clearly hit, and he dies. This is a command check for massive casualties, and they're okay. And this is on another Forge Guard with the same spray. He's hit, and he is also killed. And here we're going to have a little bit of a trouble with field promotions since the clouds are in the way. With the rings, that is. And this is now on the Arcanist Corps. He's hit. And he's pulverized, taking 7 points. and just dies outright. And there's another field promotion. Then another one fires another spray, catching 2 Forge Guard. This is on the first one. He's hit. And he's also killed. Which causes another field promotion to happen. And then on this guy, he's hit. And he's also killed. With another field promotion. And we're just adjusting things here. And then this one will target the Outrider. But he's immune to cold, so this is A-okay. This is just to finish off the Forge Guard. He's hit. And he's killed. And then this one does Winter's Wreath onto this Greylord Outrider here. And then this one tries to do Winter's Wreath again, but it's out of range, unfortunately. And then the Outriders do their light cavalry move and advance around this hill here. The Black Dragons activate, or either the Iron Fang Kovnik, he's somehow knocked over, and advances, and then the shield march onto the Black Dragons. The Black Dragons now activate, and they're going to go into a shield wall order and move 8 inches. And then they're going to pop their mini feat, Iron Zeal. The Duke Reavers then activate, and they go for it, and they just run. The Great Bears activate. And they, actually this is Drago, charging the target, and stops. Now the Grey Bears activate, and they run off to the side of the Iron Fang Kovnik. Then Sylys Wyshnalyrr activates and just advances. The Kayazy Eliminators activate and run. Thankfully, they have acrobatics, so they don't care about intervening models. The Manhunter activates and runs as well, getting ready for an assassination attempt. Rulic, turn 2. The Gorten Escort clouds expire. And then Gorten allocates 1 to the gunner. Upkeep Strength of Granite and puts 1 on the Blaster. They look very similar, I know. Then the Gorten Escort activate. And then they try to do Flame Blast onto a Greylord Outrider. He misses, so it deviates to the 4 inches. And then it catches a Widowmaker. So he's hit, and he dies. Then another one tries to do another Flame Blast, another Greylord Outrider. Same target. The initial target, that is, and so the template is just so it's centered. And this one also deviates to the 3 inches. which, of course, misses the Greylord Outrider and lands in between the Arcanist Core and the Greylord. And then the Blaster then does a spray onto the Black Dragons in front of him, catching 3 models. He then spends his focus, and this is the first hit. He's hit and takes no damage. And the second one is hit and also takes no damage. The last one is hit and takes no damage as well. Then Qadorn activates and nudges ever so slightly towards the Doom Reavers. He hits, automatically killing, causing a tough roll, which this Doom Reaver fails. Qadorn then berserks onto the other Doom Reaver. He hits, kills him, causing a tough, which he fails. And then the Gunner activates, tries to take a shot at the Greylord Outrider. He spends his focus. First he measures his range. He's in range. And then he spends his focus for a powerful shot. He hits. And then we have to see if this one here is cocked. And so it is. So he rerolls it. And this damage roll just obliterates the Greylord Outrider, causing a field promotion. The Artillery Core activate and fire. But then he readjusts his target. And then he overmeasures his range, so I tell him to nudge it back just so he's at the model, and he's clearly in range. He hits and kills the Black Dragon. And so we have splash damage onto the unit leader, and he takes no damage. Now the high shields activate, and they issue an order double time. Readjusting here with his movement just to be sure about where he wants them to be, and also for their CRAs, since they do have ranked attacks. And then he pops their minifeet, guns blazing, letting them shoot twice. And so there's a 4-man CRA into the Black Dragon unit leader. He hits and kills him, causing a field promotion. Then another one takes a shot at a Doom Reaver. He's in range. They hit, and they kill, causing him to fail another tough roll. And then another 3 fire, hit, and do no damage. So they're readjusting so they can shoot again. And so there's another giant CRA going into the Black Dragon unit leader, which hits and kills. Another CRA into the Lonely Black Dragon, and they're in range. They hit and do no damage. So now the Arcanist Core activate, the Oaken Assault Core activate, just advancing around. fine-tuning their placement. And so, these two do a CRA to a Black Dragon. And he checks range. And he hits, causing no damage. Then a 3-man CRA into the other Black Dragon. And he hits, and causes no damage again. The Rock Ram activates and just simply walks up and takes a shot at a Black Dragon. And misses. Then the Gorten Grundback activates and advances ever so slightly. And Gorten activates, advances, and then pops his feet. He chooses a table edge, which is my deployment zone, so toward me. So we check to see what models are affected. So it catches a few Black Dragons, the Manhunter, and it looks like he just barely missed the Eliminators, and he did. And so we're resolving the push, so the Manhunter's pushed until he hits the Widowmaker here, and he stops. And then the Iron Fang officer, he's pushed and he stops. And this trooper is pushed and he stops. And so is this one, right here, where the Iron Zeal marker is. So this guy actually first is chosen to go first. So he moves until he comes into contact with the Kovnik. And then this trooper is pushed back. And then we make sure just so he knows where he is, and he's pushed back all the way. And stops. Then we push the rest of them, so that way they stop in base contact. And the last one here is pushed back until he stops with this trooper right here. And that's it. Khador, turn 3. Vlad gets all 7 of his focus, and allocates none. He then upkeeps transference for free due to Sylys, and drops a sail. He then upkeeps Hand of Fate. The Widowmakers activate, and they advance. One of them takes a shot at Gorten. He hits, and does a sniper point. Another one fires at Gorten. Line of sight seems to be an issue here, so we just show it for the camera's sake. There's the line right there. See? He's got it. So he hits, and does this another sniper point. And then another Widowmaker fires. He's in range. And then this one goes onto the Gorten Grundback, who is automatically hit and so takes a point of damage from sniper. The Widowmaker Marksman activates and takes a shot at Gorten. And there's the line of sight right there. So he fires and hits and does a sniper point of damage as well. Then Vlad activates and advances. He then casts Hand of Fate onto the Kayazy Eliminators. I know, I should have dropped it on the Greylord Outriders. So the old one expires, the new one is on them. And then he feats. And his feat affects 5 from the faction warrior models that are non-characters. And so he chooses to pick the Kayazy Eliminators, represented by these upside down tokens here. upside down soul tokens. And then also picks these 3 black dragons, also representing that they have the feat with the upside down tokens. So the Eliminators activate, and they issue a charge targeting Gorten, allowing them to do so thanks to acrobatics. So, thanks to Vlad's feat, they charge afoot. This other lady also charges afoot. So the first one, her charge attack, Mat 12, which hits, and rolling die -7 for damage. So it does 1 massive point of damage. And the second one hits. They have 2 attacks each. Oh yeah, and so I boost damage with transference. And this does a nice 6 points of damage to Gorten. The second lady attacks with her charge attack and hits, and she does 3 points of damage to Gorten. And then her second attack also hits and boosts the damage for transference. And what is this? It does no damage. So the Black Dragons have to activate as Plan B for killing Gorten. These 3 can ignore the -3 speed from his feet, and so they just walk up 6 inches. And then I check if I'm in melee range with Gorten. But first, I have to resolve the rest of the move of the unit. I'm just placing the tokens behind the ones affected. And so, I move the rest of the unit. And the rest of the unit moves 3 inches, as they were affected by Gorten's feet. And so, this Black Dragon is in melee range with Gorten. It may seem like I'm over measuring, but just adjust it, and I'm in. So I boost it to hit, and I hit him, and he's critically knocked down. Then I boost the damage on Power Strength 16, die -5, and it kills Gorten. With a gentleman handshake, the game ends with a Qadorn victory.
Alright, so Kayazy Eliminators killing casters yet once again, as usual with
It was your own thing, Pikemen.
Well, the Eliminators did do most of the work.
Yeah, them and 2 snipers.
Yeah, I good thing I fired off the Widowmakers first, because since Gorten was at armor 21, I was like, oh boy, I'm gonna have some trouble getting through that. So let me just flick off some with sniper.
Yeah,
and that helped out a lot.
Which in our first fight, when you fought against Gorten, you didn't do any damage to him. You were much more aggressive, which with Butcher 2, was it right?
I don't think I've ever played Butcher against you.
It was Butcher 1. You came in close, and then I feeded, and that kind of stopped it. And you avoided me doing that stuff this game.
Yeah.
With keeping your caster aside, I messed up in deployment. I should have done a column instead of spreading my forces out.
Yeah, that's usually a problem that I did the same thing as well with any war game that when I started playing. I've always spread my forces out. I'm doing that right now in fantasy, actually.
Yeah, you got to be careful, especially in fantasy.
I've noticed.
Even though we're War Machine, these mistakes happen in every game.
Yes.
Oh, let me put this tank all by itself, and oh, it got destroyed turn 1. it was unprotected. But then again, my Forge Guard, if they hit anything, they usually die. So
That's why I killed them
I'm always
first.
surprised about losing them. I just placed them wrong, but heck, next time I will have the Earth Shaker.
Yes.
The Earthbreaker.
Yes. Basically, we're going to plan a rematch sometime, maybe in the next few months, when both of us have a Colossals. It's going to be Earthbreaker versus Conquest.
Yeah.
Who are you going to use?
I'll probably use Mad Hammer.
Really?
With
Just for more shots?
Yeah, with 2 Avalanchers in tow as well. You gotta love that feat turn. I mean, it's for the lulz. I hate saying that expression, but it's a really, really fun build. I play rules, so clearly I'm not playing this competitively, as I do not have gun mages yet inside the list, and broadside bard or two galleons. We'll get there eventually.
And I'll be using Conquest with Epic Sorsha, of course. Oh, that feat turn and that bond. Oh, you end your movement you end your activation within 2 inches of me. You're stationary.
Yeah.
And those PAL Strength 22 fists with double damage. Oh, you know you like.
You know I get tune-up on my Colossal, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. All the guns.
So what do you think of the game?
It was really good. Khador is a very hard nut for me to crack, unlike Signar. The armor is really tough. We both have the heaviest armors inside of the game.
Yes.
Our jacks are pretty good. I was kind of sad to not see Drago actually get in combat, and having the Rock Ram actually not in combat kind of bothered me. I probably should have went with another jack, probably the Driller, or even 2 more gun bunnies in its place.
Those gun buddies are ridiculously good for how little they cost, and
yeah,
they run on one focus.
Yeah, if anyone doesn't know this, they are 3 points. They all have powerful shot. One is with a solid shot cannon. The other one is with a powerful shot spray. A lot of people think they suck.
Shot spray is nuts.
Yeah, I just rolled like crap with it. It should have at least killed at least another one.
Yeah.
My dice was also against me.
Spray?
It is a POW 10.
Okay.
But with 3 dice, that can go up to a 28.
Yeah.
Which would have went over your 22 armor.
The likelihood of that was kind of low. So,
hey,
but against
you rolled 0 damage, so anything is possible.
Yes.
Which that's what I was banking on. I was like, repeat, and there was no repeat, and I was gutted like a fish. Which is weird for me with Gorten, because this is the first time he's been assassinated.
And this game would have been with me using Butcher 3, but we had an agreement a long time ago with this battle report that I would not use Butcher 3 because you can't handle them just yet.
Dwarves can't. Like, at the end of the day, Mercenaries cannot handle something like Butcher 3. It is a problem why the faction isn't a competitive faction.
Why do you think that you can't handle them?
We don't really have... I mean, the only thing that can really deal with him is the Commodore. And the Commodore is... I mean, mind you, this is coming from a ranged mentality because of his ability of pulling everything within 16. Throwing Forge Guard at a 5. Throwing
His
Forge
threat
Guard.
range is 16 inches when you account for everything. With the Energizer charge, impending doom, all that crazy
It makes
jazz.
it really rough. And really, Mercenaries' way of usually handling, at least from our experience here in our meta, the Forge Guard, they can kill generally anything that they get to charge, but Butcher's abilities counteract the Forge Guard. Like, the Forge Guard become weak against him.
Yep.
I can send in something like the Rock Ram, the Driller, but then again, I'm sending in jacks to handle them, and if I mess up, which I don't think you would give me that 8 inches. That's the other thing. Rule move 4 inches. This is not...
Yes.
It sucks, but it's fun when I get to do different things. Next time, he might be facing the General instead. That was really decisive. Do I go fast or armor? I probably should have went with the General for this game so I can move around a little bit more.
Yeah,
And
probably.
have martial discipline. Actually, now looking at it, that's probably the rate I should have went. The +4 movement did help me. If anyone knows, that's the Searforge Commission's special ability.
Yes, he's using the tier list from Searforge Commission. That's why he had a 14-inch deployment zone, which is nuts.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome. But then again,
Did you do your advanced move? Did you forget about that?
Actually, the only advanced move I had with this list, because you faced the General,
Oh yeah.
where I get the free move, was with the Wanderer, who he did kind of what I wanted him to, which was to try to engage your Doom Reavers, because we played many games where basically Doom Reavers hit my army and kind of deplete. But this is the first time me facing magical shotgun cavalry.
Yes, Greylord Outriders.
And I did not plan for them, and it was definitely a surprise to see them. I was, oh crap, I know what these guys do when they're on foot. Now they're on cavalry. The mobility It was, oh god. And then when I saw him go right for the forward chair, I'm like, I've lost this game. Deployment lost this game for me. And, you know, that's the truth. Some games, I've lost games of Warhammer with my Skaven from just getting charged on the side, and I actually have a very competitive Skaven army. But, you know, different adjustments in battle with deployment is a primary factor.
Oh, yeah. Unless you're Legion.
Yeah.
And then you just don't care.
Yeah, but, you know what? You know. Ooh, actually, I beat Chris.
Really?
Yeah, no, we drew because of time.
Was that during the steamroller?
No, that was actually a practice round, and that was Tactical Arcanist Corps. That's the other thing. Usually my Tactical Arcanist Corps are one of the more useful units.
Yes, they are.
Which Anthony has, in this battle, really decided to go after, which is a smart thing. If anyone's never faced them...
Battle Wizard?
Yeah, Battle Wizard, and they set things on fire. You know, if you ever face Menoth, you know what that can do. If you haven't, throw gasoline on your miniatures and catch them on fire. The Battle Wizard is phenomenal. They have smoke, which is something dwarves really need. They have magical attacks, which helps us out against cricks, which I have yet to really have the pleasure of facing cricks. I look forward to that in an upcoming battle, possibly at one of the tournaments in which we're going to.
Yes.
Or upcoming Steamroller.
I am the in training press ganger for my store, so I'm almost done having my Khador battle box being painted up. I just have a few final touches left on Sorsha, and I also need to paint up my destroyer magnetized pieces, and then that'll be
I
it.
prefer my battle box, right?
Which one?
Mine is 8 points.
Oh yeah, that's the Gorten. So basically, I run all the events here. That's why you see me making these videos. It's part of what a press ganger does, and I ran a steamroller in September here. We had a decent turnout. Half of our players came from out of state, out of the city, and from Orlando. And I'm going to be running another one in January. That's going to be 50 points with a relaxed time limit.
Yeah, actually, it was really good.
Expecting more people, a lot more people this time.
And the nice thing is here in South Florida, we have one of the a very good competitive group.
Yes.
We have an event called Crucible, which is a big...
it's in Central Florida.
It's in Orlando, and the guys that run it came, and that was really cool to actually see and actually play with them. And I look forward to attempting to kick their ass at Crucible.
Yeah, I'll definitely be going there. That's for certain. It's on my birthday weekend, too, so that'd be cool.
Yeah, and I'm trying to con our school into paying for it. Was that it?
Yeah, let's see. Anything you would have done differently besides deployment?
Different orchestra. I would have showed up. Actually, thinking about it, for the scenario, I actually forgot a part
It's a FrozenKommander battle port. Scenario doesn't matter.
Yeah, no. And it's, I mean, like, it's not, sometimes you just forget, and I was more, oh crap, what do I do? But it's because the magical shotgun, mobile magical shotgun, totally threw me off. He's like, oh, here's his card. I'm like, oh, the Greylord Outriders. And I was like, wait a minute, that means they're on horseback. oh, this sucks. But I probably, knowing that I was going to face them, and really understanding what they did, probably next time I would use Manhammer with the double avalanchers.
Yes.
For people that don't know what he does, he boosts all range damage, and it doesn't
blast damage.
Blast damage.
He adds an additional die to it.
Yeah, so you can still boost and add the additional die, but I don't even
4 dice of damage.
Or I would take the general. Probably with a unit of long gunners and Rupert. Reinhold, sorry. Use Reinhold to check the range, cast snipe on the unit and fire. I'd also probably do fire effect on the artillery.
How are you going to handle the concealment, because that's the main thing?
Oh yeah, you're right, they're concealed. So actually, Mad Hammer.
Yeah.
Just
yeah, they are.
Oh, I can't see them. That's cool.
They are armor 15, so they can withstand some blast damage. But when it's with an additional die and then boosted on top of that, they're not going to stick around very long.
4 dice. Yeah, 4 dice. It's fun, but I only get to do it once. And our local store actually hates him, and that's why I don't play him anymore. There's been several comments on our group's page and in the store about me running him. And it was also when we were all learning how to play, so there was mistakes made. As clearly as some of our Battle Report show, we are learning, and we are doing much better.
Yes.
And that's really, these Battle Reports have been helping us as much as it's helping you guys enjoy our game.
Especially since when you guys leave comments, that helps us out tremendously. Like, I fixed a lot of my game. I used to do banana charges a lot, and then one of the veteran players from our area pointed out to me, he's like, "You're doing banana charges." Like,
yeah, I didn't even notice that. Well, like, that's some other thing. Sometimes you just don't notice these things. If anyone has any comments outside of why are you playing Rule or how you lost your Forge Guard, which I know those are going to come up, like, oh, look, you're playing Rule. Lols. I would actually like some feedback as well. Again, Rule is that weird faction because I am playing Mercenaries. But, hey, who doesn't like pirates and dwarves? You know?
all right, so that seems like we've covered everything. So thanks, guys, for watching, and stay tuned for the next battle report. It will probably be either against Legion or Crix. But
that'll be interesting.
yeah, it'll probably be either Dane or Bill that they've expressed interest
Well,
in
if you're
playing.
doing against Bill, I want to be there for that.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys, for watching. Anthony here from FrozenKommander, and this is Nate.
Yeah.
Happy wargaming.
Good luck, bro.